what's up? I am back with another video, and this is my recap and review for Love After Lockup. This is season 4, episode 2. I did not get the title. Shucks. Psych. Anywho, don't mind my shiny face. I just did my nighttime skincare routine, so I might look a little shiny, but it's all good. That's moisture, honey. Moisture. But anyway, I'm gonna just get right into it. This episode, was still kind of introductory. We were trying to see, everyone getting released and whatnot, and of course that brought its own mishaps. And so we're just gonna get everybody out the way, because when I get to Indy and Harry, I'm gonna need to sit here and talk about Indy and Harry for quite a bit. So yeah, let's start with Taylor and Chance. Taylor and Chance, so apparently she was unaware until the night previously that he was going to just be getting out, like, so super abrupt. So much so that the actual formal camera crew they weren't even able to get to her house and formally set up in time. And so she's improvising, of course. She's shooting on her phone or on whatever, handheld camera or whatever. Got it. She's getting all cutesy up or whatever. But she also, one of her main concerns was that, like, okay, she, of course, I get it. Like, I get it. She wanted to, obviously welcome him home into her home and have it all, laid out and, have everything organized and a space set up for his stuff and whatnot. So she's like, I hope he's not, upset or like, feels some type of way about that. And I was just like, well, I mean, I get it, but he has no grounds to feel any type of way, because last time I checked, this is yo shit, and he doesn't have a pot to piss in currently, so he has no grounds to say a goddamn thing. I'm gonna just leave that there. So she heads out. It's kind of raining. It's not like pouring, but it's definitely like, it's definitely, moderately drizzling. So she pulls up, and he, I believe, was supposed to get out at like 9:30. And so of course she's waiting, doing the whole waiting game and whatnot. And he finally gets out at 10:07. She doesn't get out like the car to, like do the whole overture. Oh my God, yes! That whole thing. Because it was raining, and I was like, good on you, girl, because I probably wouldn't have got out either. But they kiss, of course, and embrace, and he actually tells us more about his him getting locked up. And he says that he was, at the time in that video, of him robbing the bank or whatever, he was so gone off Xanax that, yeah, before he knew it, he just was getting the money out the drawer, and that was that. But at the same time, he found himself involved in at least 8 other felonies prior to. So, and most of which, I guess, the main thing was that they were, his drug habit was fueling all of this and whatnot. And he was a, like, prescription painkiller abuser or whatnot, as well as, I think he said, cocaine too. So that makes sense. I think he said armed or robbery, evading arrest, and some other stuff. So, hopefully he looks healthy. I will tell you that he looked healthy. Everything was, looking bright. Like, am I still going to say that he looks like Brad Pitt's cousin or brother or whatever? I'm not going to take it that far now. But I will say, he does look healthy, and they were cute. So she goes to pull off, and her car doesn't start. And I'm just like, oh, Jesus. And again, I see it from both sides, because her whole thing was like, oh, he's, he wasn't upset, and, I really appreciate that. It's like, I understand, like, he, get out of jail. Well, I've never been in jail, but I'm assuming if I was in jail, I would be, obviously get out. I'd be super excited, like, yes, out. Like, you just want to get as far away from there as possible, obviously. So, of course, anything that stifles that, you're going to be like, bruh, really? Come on. So I get that. The average person would feel the same way. But again, you know, you're already going through great lengths for this man who you have never even seen outside those walls and that barbed wire. So he should just be grateful for whatever. So luckily they get somebody to give them a jump, which Taylor girl, get you some jumper cables, put them in the back. They give you like, I think I got mine from Costco, you know, it has like the flares and the jumper cables and the flashlight and all that. Get you one of those, especially since, you know, being a single mom, you know, God forbid something like this happens again, you got a kids, like, get you one of those and you'll be good. But they get a jump and they're on the way. So great. Next we had another short one, Kayla and Martell. So Kayla and Martell, so she's outside with her, you know, in her Easter Sunday best, white church shoes, lace up church shoes, whatever. And she's out there in the terminal waiting for him. And he finally gets there. I want to say like it was 2 hours after the time. Let me see.
2 hours later.
It was like 2 hours after the time that he was supposed to get there. And in the meantime, of course, she's talking about weddings and stuff like that. And she did bring up like she's aware that he's going to have to get on his feet, which I'm like, thank God, because most times the people on here, the ones that are on the outside part, they just love to negate the fact that, or just glaze past the fact that these people are literally exiting prison with, you know, usually nothing to their name. You know, they gotta, you know, acclimate to society, get, you know, some things going for themselves, but somehow we always gloss over that fact and they just start saying what they expect, what they want from this person, because, you know, they've been on the outside holding it down and whatever. And it's like, I get it, but it's like you can't get there without going through the process, which means getting a job, maybe getting a vehicle or whatever, maybe getting a place of your own if you guys don't want to coexist for, you know, already. Like, I don't know. You need to get on your feet is what I'm trying to say. Get some savings up, all that. But he finally pulls up, thank God. And her main worry for the most part was kind of like that she hadn't been honest with him, because we all know she has something a skeleton in the closet that she hasn't addressed yet. And it's clearly she has another man or had been with another man or something like that. Something with another man. We can all guess that much, but she hasn't told him that yet. And like, as much as she's saying like she's worried about that, he's also on the opposite side saying how he cannot, you know, she held it down for 13 years, and, you know, I, you know, commend her for that, and because, you know, she was young, and I'm just like, it's like dramatic irony all over the place, because we clearly know that there's some skeletons in the closet. Even though they haven't been introduced or broken down to us yet, we know that they're there. So we'll see in the next episode or two. It'll all come to light. But they finally embraced, and, you know, she's super excited or whatever, blah, blah, blah. They get in the car to go to the hotel. He doesn't have to be to the halfway house until like 11:45 that night, and so that means that they got like 10 hours to do the thing probably. And so they are off to the hotel. And also he said that he kind of broke it down how he got arrested and everything. He was in the car with his cousin, and they were driving to North Carolina. Coincidental, right? And they got pulled over. He said he felt as though they were being racially profiled because they're two black men with locks. And I was just like, okay. If that's your feelings, I respect it. Got it. Totally understand. But then he went on to say that once they, you know, searched the vehicle, that they found firearms, crack, okay, like all these things. So it's kind of like, well, I mean, I would just leave it at that. But we see that his bubble is going to be bursting very soon. Like I said before, we got to address those the skeletons in the closet. But like I said, they go back to the hotel, they have sex or whatever. And of course, she has to bring up that she's ovulating. And I'm just like, girl, again. So it's like on one hand, you understand that he needs to get back on his feet and get his money up and everything. But then you say like, oh, like basically you say like, oh, bitch, I'm ready to get pregnant right now. And it's like, I get it. I kind of get it because it's like, and they had history before he got locked up and all that. So whether she wanted to completely just hold it down, not be with anybody, whatever, that either one of those things are her decision. Totally fine with me. Especially because, like I said, they had history. They were together prior to, whatever. So that was totally her call. Completely. But, so I understand how she's like, well, we've been, so I'm ready for us to go to the next chapter. Because that's probably what they probably already had. If they would have been together this whole time, they probably would have already had a kid, So I understand. But again, we can't negate what is right in front of us, and the current situation is that he needs to get back on his feet before then. So I get it, but girl, come on. Next, let's just talk about Kevin and Tiffany. Kevin, I really want to see how this is gonna go. I want to see how all these are gonna go, obviously, but I'm interested to see how this whole thing is going to play out, because he is the issue in this. I feel like we haven't even heard a peep, I don't think, from Tiffany. But he seems to be the issue because he's out with his friends, whatever. And they was flicking it up for a minute. So I'm just like, keep that in mind, y'all. He posted, where his whereabouts were or whatever. So, of course, Miss Kayla, the ex, that's not the ex that was, that is usually the flavor of all of his weeks, the flavor for Sundays. Because apparently on Sunday, I'll get to that in a minute. She starts calling, he ignores it. So what does she do next? Of course, she shows up because she knows where he's going to be. Because he posted it. But of course, he was acting like, well, I don't know, I have to go damn near to Dallas to get away from her because I don't know how she would know. I mean, she could have found it out on social media. And I'm like, yeah, you think? But whatever. But before she shows up, of course, his friends, they were going back and forth. They want to know, that 411 or whatever on Miss Tiffany. And so he was, explaining, everything about their situation, how long they've been talking, blah, blah, blah. And his friends were just like, well, look, based on your historical relationships, you're not the best at, picking them. So usually pick They already know. They know their friend, but whatever. So then, of course, like I said before, Kayla then shows up. The friends, they excuse themselves, and they start talking. And like I said, or like I began to say before, she is like, any other time, you come over my house on Sunday, we watch our shows, we, chill, do whatever, we do whatever, and you stay in the night, everything's cool for the rest of the week, and then Sunday rolls back around, we do the same thing. So I'm not understanding why all of a sudden you're acting a little weird, and every time I'm asking you what's up, you're not telling me. So I'm getting pissed off because I want some answers from you. And he is tiptoeing around what we already know as the viewers, which is that Miss Tiffany is in the picture now. He doesn't want to tell her that. And I'm like, I kind of get it. Why you don't want to tell her that. But she's going to find out anyway. And she even she, as in Kayla, was like, is there somebody else? She flat out asked him. And of course, he was like, ugh. And I'm just like, well, girl, like, I hope you're just saying this for the show because you see those cameras right there, right? You see those cameras. I know you see those cameras. You're over here talking to them directly. So you know it's somebody else. You know something's up. So, girl, come on. But like I said, he denies it. And apparently they've been messing around for like at least 6 years. She said something about 6 years at one point. So I'm just like, are you? Whatever. And she also knows that they're it's like I feel like she's cool with just being friends with benefits or getting whatever he gives to her, just as long as there's no funny business and nothing getting interfered with that, and that she still always has access to him, even if it's just a piece of him, or as long as it's nobody else in the picture or whatever. Like, she's fine with being just whatever until she moves up to, you know, being the official girlfriend, wife, whatever she wants to be, like, and she clearly feels like she's being slighted right now. So, but again, I'm not even putting all the blame on her. I'm putting it on him, because there's a reason, like, why she feels like that. I do believe that's their Sunday plans every Sunday and whatever, but she's in love with him. So she says, and I don't know if you guys peeped that, but he tried to like almost pawn her off. He's like, you could go date whoever, whatever, because he wants to be able to do what he wants to do without just completely outing himself. And is trying to just, you know, like his friend said, stage 5 clinger. But he walks away, he's pissed. And next time we see him, I don't know if it's the next day or whatever, but it's Tiffany's release day. He wakes up at 8:22 a.m. Mind you, she's supposed to be getting released at 9:30 a.m. So he's late already. Luckily, being that the prison is 4 hours away from his home, he had already drove down there and was staying in the hotel that's only so far away now, thank God. So he, you know, jumps in the Camaro and he's out. And in the meantime, he's like, okay, let me just call, re-verify, you know, whatever. He calls to verify the release time or whatever he called for, and they're like, yeah, sorry, but she's not getting out today, and we don't have any more information to tell you right now, so you're gonna have to call over to Henley, because that's who would know. And I was like, is Henley another prison or section of I don't know, but like I said, she's not getting out that day, so he's already like, what? So he calls over there. They can't really tell him much more information, but all they can see is something about disciplinary. So we already know what that means. That means that she probably got in trouble for something and she's probably being retained. So I don't know. So then he calls back to the number he called before, and she was like, didn't you just call here? Don't call here no more. I told you I couldn't tell you nothing else. Click. He's like, I think she hung up on me. You think? Because she already told you she ain't telling you nothing. Mr. Tiffany's boyfriend. Like, sorry. So I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen, because then he looks online and he doesn't really see any more information, but somewhere in the notes or whatever, it does say that she doesn't have a new date, but it says that it would be determined in April 14th, 2095 or something. So he's like, did she just get 4 more years for something? Did she do something? Like, he's just confused. Just as confused as we are. I don't know what happened. Maybe it's just for the kid. I don't know. We'll see. And who do we have next? Rick and Radine, y'all. So Rick, he goes down to the lingerie store to buy Radine some stuff. And I don't know why on these shows, they always go to these boutiques. I'm like, just go to a regular store. You know, Target makes great panties, bras, clothes, whatever, way more affordable than $733, but whatever. And he got Ramona with him, which I understand, you know, if you don't know a lot about women's clothing and stuff like that, it's always good to have another female's perspective. I get it. Okay, cool, great, got it. But again, given the situation, it's kind of like, could that be misinterpreted? Like, I could understand, maybe she should have took one of her friends. Maybe that would have been better, because now it's like, But Ramona also says that she's not used to living with women as well, so she already knows that it could be hit or miss. So everyone knows this except for Rick. Well, Rick knows but he likes to just look past that. Like, no, this could be a real big issue for you, so you might want to address it now and put in some stuff now. But whatever. Radine calls while he's looking at some different items, and she says the same thing because she quickly finds out that Ramona's there assisting him as well. So she's like, hey, like, I've been around women nonstop for the past however many years. Like, I think her whole thing is kind of like she's been around women so much and she's used to them being maybe like deceptive, or just knowing how dramatic, just knowing how we can be sometimes when we all get together or whatever, we're on the same roof. And she don't really want to deal with that. And I completely understand. She knows that there might be some friction or whatever. And because she wants to be in, this is my home. Like, she wants to be the queen of the castle. So if Ramona tries to get in the way of that. And Ramona's probably been the queen of the castle, you know, this whole time. Not that they've been intimate or anything like that, but that could potentially cause the, you know, some issues because they're both trying to be the queen of the castle, you know. He also thought it was cool to say that he thinks Ramona might have a crush on him, and I'm just like, why would you say that? You're only making this worse for yourself. Like, exactly why Radine is probably like not here for it, because you think that she ought to, because that made sense, right? But whatever. Like I said, total came out to $733.94. He proceeds to say that he does not have that type of money, even though she deserves it. And of course, he proceeds to swipe and charge it, because that's the best thing to do. Like I said, you should have went down to the Target. Next, we meet Radian's father and stepmother, Judy. I didn't get the dad's name, but we meet them. Apparently, Rick has met them before or whatever, and they approve of the relationship, or at least, you know, the age difference and whatnot, the obvious age difference, I should say. Yeah, they're okay with it or whatever, because like the father said, by the time that becomes like so relevant, maybe more or so, we'll be dead. So I was like, oh, okay, whatever, you like it, I love it, not my business. And also when they're talking, going back and forth, he brings up Ramona again or whatever, and they're like, wait, who's Ramona or whatever? He's like, oh, it's my roommate. And they're like, oh, see, we knew you had a roommate, but we didn't know it was a woman, so that'll be interesting. And they probably know their daughter well enough to know that that's not something that she's gonna be completely cool with either. So again, Mr. Rick, like, common sense. And her dad also shares that he struggled with addiction before or whatever, and because he knows the signs, he knows, you know, the struggle of it all, that's why he feels great having her come and live with them once she gets out. And it was like, I thought she was coming to live with me, what? And he's like, no, like, last time I checked, she was gonna be paroled here. But so we already know that's gonna be something. But he also feels as though, like, okay, he knows he's gonna spoil his daughter. He's all about, you know, yeah, still his daughter at the end of the day, but he knows that she's gonna have nothing but an uphill battle, and that she's gonna be tested. Like, right now she's had prison clean, but once she gets out in the real world and has to, you know, face temptation and still say no, he knows that could be something really hard on a person, and he knows and has lived through it, so he wants to be that support system for his daughter. And I totally understand that, versus having, you know, Rick, who is still, although he's living in his sobriety and whatnot, he doesn't know him from a can of paint. So it's one of those things, you know, it's harder to assist somebody with something that you're currently struggling with yourself, potentially, or that you haven't completely mastered or whatever. And especially when you don't have that connection, those ties or whatever, like, that is her blood, that's her father or whatever. So I feel like if anybody would be able to assist her with that, like, why wouldn't it be him, versus, you know, you over here who, you know, I'm not saying you're unstable, but you got your own issues and nothing like that, whatever, and you're not as tied to her as they are. So, like, you might not be able to assist her in the best way, is what it comes down to. And I totally agree with him. And as her dad said before, Ramona, apparently she likes to spark one up, which is whatever, fine, but not when you have somebody in the house who is, you know, working on staying sober and whatnot. Like, so again, that might not be the best environment for her. Duh, Rick. But he's kind of, I feel like, putting his own selfish wants before that, and I'm just like, no good, honey, no good, honey. And the dad, he's like, regardless, he's not cool with whatever, because he's like, at the end of the day, you know, that's still my daughter. So basically, you do something to mess up with her or hurt her or do whatever towards her, and I'm on it. Anyway, fast forward, it's Radine's release day, and Ramona comes out, they talk for a second. She's also on board with her living with her parents because, like I said before, she feels as though they can provide her a stable environment. And again, they're still dating. So it's really hard. Like, living with somebody is a whole different beast, okay? And doing that while still building and learning each other and building a relationship and whatnot and dating, like, it could be a lot. It could be very detrimental. So I totally understand that. And I don't think that was her speaking from a place of like, oh no, I don't want to live here because I got a crush on Rick. I think that she was like seeing the obvious potential issues with it. But long story short, he gets a call from Radine. Apparently there's been a issue, you know, with old panorama issues, and because of it, she's not getting released. He's upset. He storms off. We don't know. TBD. Okay, y'all, are you ready? Indy and Harry. Oh boy. Okay, so we pick up with them where we left off. He's still trying to go get some burgers and stuff for not only himself, but for his friends down at the halfway house. And I'm just like, mind you, it's like, by this time it's like 2:30 in the morning, 2 o'clock, whatever. So, and also we know that his family had made him a fungo or whatever back at the house, back at Lydia's house. So of course she calls and is like, where are you guys? Like, what's taking so long? What the hell? And he's like, what? I had to go do. And she's like, what? Like, she goes berserk, rightfully so. We're waiting up for you. We're doing all these things. But his whole thing was that he didn't ask them to do that or whatever, or he should be in control of what he eats, which is fine, whatever, fine. You could have stopped, got you some food, and went straight there or whatever. They probably all ultimately would have just been happy to see you. Like, wouldn't even been about the food at that point. But because you're such an immature little asshole, you decided to just be like on some F the world type stuff. All I need is me type stuff. Y'all ain't never did nothing for me type stuff. Yet you're going to be paroled to her home and she's opening you with open arms, or letting you in with open arms. Make it make sense. So they finally get to, and I don't even know who paid for the food. It was probably Indy, no money, have himself, like, because that was whatever. They get to her house at literally 3:10 a.m. Mind you, again, he got out at midnight. So what were you doing for all that time? I don't feel like it was that far of a distance. They didn't say anything about pulling over and having sex or nothing like that. But still, I'm like, what were you guys doing for that whole amount of time? It's not like you could have really went up there and hung out with the people, the people at the halfway house. So I'm not understanding like what you guys were doing that. I just don't understand at all. I don't know. But anyway, so Lydia lets them in. Carla, the other sister, and the mom had already left by this time. They left at like 2:30 or whatever. They're like, nah, fuck that. He's on some bullshit. Totally understandable. They get there at 3:10 a.m. and mind you, the whole time Indy's just kind of like looking stupid, like she doesn't belong, because you don't. You need to be home with your own family, and you see they got their own crazy stuff going on. You need to just not be in that situation with your daughter. But whatever. Once Lydia starts getting all mad and stuff like that, Harry goes outside and he's talking all this junk, drinking, I think was he drinking Remy straight out the bottle, just being so totally extra, y'all, like just pissing me the off, like all types of stuff. Nobody was there for me. Them in the halfway house, that's my family. Like, I don't need this or whatever. Y'all not gonna talk to me any type of way. I don't need nobody. Walks off, whatever. Last time I checked, you did need somebody. You did need your sister, because that's who you're being paroled to's house. Because you don't have nothing to your name. But whatever. Go off, sis. Yeah, I'm gonna call you sis because you was acting like, yeah. He's had enough at this point. So he decides he's gonna leave. And by him, he means him, Indy, and Nicola, of course, who's in the room, like, sleep or whatever. So they go grab her up, and get in the car or whatever, and it's like, let's just go, whatever, like, you don't want to apologize, so let's just, go to a hotel, whatever, we can't stay here, blah, blah, blah. They get in the car, and while they're driving, she gets emotional, because she probably gets emotional, one, because she knows she's about to have to pay for something that she ain't got no money to pay for, and two, this is not what she is overwhelmed, because she knows that she is making a huge mistake, and that she's an idiot for getting herself into this. That's probably why she's crying, but whatever. And mind you, he's all like, oh, we're just gonna go and figure it out. Like, no, you don't just figure things out. When did he get locked up? When he was 19, right? Or 19, 20, whatever. He's still prime example. He's still stuck in that mindset. He's still stuck. He's still that age. He has a lot of growing and maturing to do on his own. This proved it. If there was a red flag that could be taped to somebody's forehead at this point, it would have been him in that moment. Like I said, she had started crying, whatever, but they get to the hotel. They go in there, whatever. Next morning, everybody's up. Bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, cheery. Nicole's calling him daddy, which is gross. And they went shopping, or maybe they had the food in the car. I don't know. But it was like, no food. Like, I seen some ice cream in the freezer and like some goldfish and stuff, but I didn't see no like food. So I was kind of like, but at least, she had a little bit of snacks. Okay, I'll give you that. I did only see one bed too, and I was just like, you couldn't get the room with the 2 queen beds. Like, so then now, not only is this little girl calling him daddy, but you guys were all in one bed. Weird. I don't like it. Not here for it. You need to stop. She also goes into talking about how it was awkward, but it was, 10 out of 10 sex because they had to go into the bathroom, and she just imagined it different, but because no hoe was there, like, I'm just like, just ew, just fucking, just stop right now. But, who comes to burst their bubble? Well, she doesn't burst her bubble. Harry bursts his own bubble, being an idiot. Lydia calls, and she's like, yo, where are you? What's going on? Your PO called me, and I had to tell him you wasn't here. You didn't spend the night here or whatever, so you might want to call him. Because, mind you, I don't know what time it was, but he was supposed to call his parole officer between 8 and 10 a.m. So clearly it's after that time. And somehow it just slipped his mind. I'm like, you've been out for one day, not even a full 24 hours, and you already forgot. You need to check in. Like, that is what you're on parole. You check in with your parole officer. Like, we all have heard this a million times, like, on the show or whatever. If you know somebody, if you've ever been in that position, like, that is like your one job. Like, one most important thing, especially for him who's going to be on parole for the next 15 years, which is like disgusting in itself, like 15, whatever, different story for a different day. You had one task and you failed to even do that. Again, that shows red flag, can't even be trusted for that. So now because of it, by this time he had called his parole officer, and his parole officer was like, look, you too busy out here with your little pen pal or whatever. So guess what? I got one, I'm gonna do you one better. I'm gonna put you on an ankle monitor, and you can make sure that you stay at your sister's house, because that is where you're supposed to be paroled to every single night. He's like, oh man, I gotta bracelet. Like, yes, because you can't be trusted to check in when you're supposed to check in. You've already fumbled it once. You're lucky he didn't just throw you right back up in there in either halfway house or worse, in prison once again. You don't take your freedom serious at this point, is what I'm thinking, because there would have been no if there's one thing I'm gonna do when I get out of here, that's what my mindset would have been like, if there's one thing I'm gonna do when I get out of here, it is gonna be check in, so I don't gotta come back up in here. You had one job, but you was too busy going off, showing out and doing the most, that you didn't even do the one thing you're supposed to do. So you feel like you already missed out on life, whatever, you're trying to get it together, whatever, you just set yourself back even further, because by being an idiot. Congratulations, you played yourself. Just kidding. But whatever. And the whole time Miss Indy's only upset that she was called his pen pal, and I'm like, girl, that's what they call y'all, because that's all you guys, that's where you guys bond through, is by, writing each other and doing whatever. Like, girl, get over it. You should be mad at him that now he, is doing not the right stuff. Like, that's what you should be on him about. A good partner is going to, hold you accountable and want better for you. So that's what you should be upset about. Not that she was called his pen pal. Like, girlfriend, pen pal, friend, slot, whatever you want to call it. That's what you are, whatever. Y'all will figure it out. So I'm assuming he's gonna have to rush on over get back to Lydia's house. I don't know. We'll see in next week's episode. But y'all, I hope you enjoyed this review. I know I went on a little bit longer than I usually do, but like I said, I just need to get that stuff off my chest because I was too through, especially with them two, those last two. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Please, please, please like and subscribe and comment. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.